I am very sure that a lot of you guys already know the video where Set Ash Blossom by Triff Gaming defeated Lukasako, who was playing Yummy. What Triff did is to just banish Mignon, and if Mignon is gone, just to clarify, Mignon basically gives each Yummy monster on the field, on your side of the field, 580k for each light beast on the field, which is crazy. Like, those Yummy monsters, they are big if Mignon is on the field. But if Mignon is banished, which Triff did, all of those monsters suddenly are very tiny. The biggest in-engine Yummy monster is Cookie Yummy Way, which only has 1600 attack, which means a Set Ash Blossom with 1800 def, if Mignon is out of rotation, basically cooks the deck, right? Well, yes, but actually no. You see, banishing the Mignon field spell is a very good strategy to weaken the Yummy deck in general, but just because the field spell is out of rotation, that doesn't mean the deck can't do anything. A lot of people are playing the second field spell, which I prefer not to do. I play 2 Mignon for the time being because I believe, like I said, it's a good strategy to banish that field spell, and I want to counter push that movement a little bit by just playing 2. I do not believe you need that field spell, but if you are not playing the second Mignon, you obviously are playing either no second field spell at all or the other field spell. And the other field spell, if you read that card, if you synchro summon a light beast monster, synchro monster, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. So it's body removal, pretty good body removal. And if the opponent only has a Set Ash Blossom on the field, that card is very good. So Lukasako probably didn't have that card in rotation, did he? Well, he had that field spell on field, so how come that he couldn't beat the Set Ash Blossom? Because he misplayed. Alright, so here we have the situation. I'm using DB Grinder's video right now, so I hope that is okay. Link is in the description. And on the bottom here is Lukasako. Top is Triff with Malice. So you see that it should be unlosable for Lukasako, even though if you look top right, Mignon is banished. Yes, Mignon is gone, all of those monsters are tiny, he still put out a lot of damage. How can he lose in that position against a Set Ash Blossom? I mean, yeah, of course. All of those monsters, they can't beat over SP, but he has the field spell and 7 cards in extra deck. Triff only has 1 card in hand, and Lucas has Dominus, Purge, SP, and a Yummy setup via Cookie Yummy Way, since he has Snatchy in the graveyard. So if Triff activates anything, he can tech out into the Link monster and into anything else, like Cookie to pop, I don't know, to draw, Cupsy. You get what I'm saying. So how can he lose in that position? Because he made a mistake, or he is about to make a mistake a lot of Yummy players are currently making, which is to wrongly evaluate the game state and be greedy for the herald. But instead of passing, he just decides to play into it very heavily by going into Closed Heaven. That is just a way to convert 2 bodies into a Link 1 and then go into Lollipop to reborn 2 monsters. It's basically just a herald setup. Even activate the Starham. It's just to go into Herald and Snatchy. That endboard is arguably worse than the endboard he had before. He already had a Snatchy in graveyard. If he didn't have the Snatchy in graveyard, then I can see that play. But even then, he could have stopped at summoning Snatchy. That Herald summon, that Starham summon, that Lollipop summon was very bad, and he just misunderstood the game state. He didn't need to go all in against 2 cards in hand by Malice. They are not beating that at all. So what happens now is that Triff sets the Ash Blossom. Triff did everything right. Triff played that very amazingly by just seeing, okay, he has 1 card in the extra deck. He burned through all of the extra deck for no reason at all. He has the field spell, which is a pop, but he probably can't utilize that. The last card is Link Spider. It's always Link Spider if it's only 1 card left and no Link Spiders in rotation. So set Ash Blossom and you are basically cooked completely. Probably a jump scare for Lukasako. He is cooked. He will lose that game. So what would have happened if he didn't just burn through his extra deck needlessly? He can now do the combo, he can now summon Lollipop, he can now do Starham if he wants to, and use the field spell to pop the Set Ash Blossom. So that was not a Yummy mistake or a Yummy problem, that was rather a pilot or player mistake. So yeah, while getting rid of Mignon can be very good and can win you the game and can put the Yummy player in a very bad position, it's not as simple as SP banish Set Ash Blossom. Not at all, especially since a lot of people are now playing the Link 2 that resets the quick spell, or they are just straight up playing 2 quick spells, which bounces a monster card. So please do not watch that video and expect that play to work every time. I promise you, against a good very good player, that won't work most of the times. Even though you get Mignon banished, you still have to establish board dominance. If you do not have that, Yami can come back. Herald is an amazing card, and in my opinion, if your combo, if your starter can allow that, you should always aim to end on Herald. But even if you are not ending on Herald, there are countless ways to still go into Herald, or even double Herald if you really want to, in your opponent's turn, even by just using Obedience Schooled. And for the sake of the video, for the sake of teaching you to not be too greedy for the Herald, I'm going to show you that. Because even Lukasako had the possibility to just end his turn. He would have won that game immediately, but even if Triff had something, he could have gone into Herald during Triff's turn. He would have gotten a pop out of that, 2 pops with the field spell, a draw, the whole Yami setup, all that by just going past turn. Okay, how exactly can you end on Herald during the opponent's turn? Even if you are Obedience Schooled, Beast Locked, or your opponent just throws 3 hand traps on you and you can end on only basically the standard Yami setup. We just take Obedience Schooled as an example because I do believe that will happen a lot more often than you getting hand trapped like 3 times and you can't end on anything. So you summon all 3 names and now you are Beast Locked for the duration of the turn. You link away Cupsy into Snatchy effect to activate Mignon from the deck. If your opponent has any hand trap, it's basically completely invalidated since you have opened Obedience School. Snatchy and any Yami name to go into Cupsy. Cupsy effect to add to the main deck Cupsy Yami and Cookie Yami to the hand, then you have to discard any random card. Link Cookie Yami into Snatchy and now you special summon Cupsy Yami, activate Cupsy Yami's effect, and it's very important to go Snatchy first, since if the opponent in theory has an impermanence, you just give him a good spot to use Imperm without needing to if you special summon Cupsy Yami without linking Cookie into Snatchy first. With Cupsy Yami you obviously grab one of the best cards in the deck, which is Yami Surprise. That card is broken beyond belief. Now you use Mignon to special summon any Yami name back to the field. I would probably go for Lollipop since having both Cookie Yami and Cupsy Yami as possible effect via the Synchro monster is very important and more useful than Lollipop immediately most of the times. And that setup basically plays around every hand trap imaginable. You still have normal summoned if the opponent nips, you also have Yami Surprise. It's very good and you can easily go into Herald during the opponent's turn, but how exactly? It is very simple, probably more simple than you believe. I would personally, maybe depending on the matchup, wait if they play a little bit more into it, but even after they activate Reinforcement of the army and you immediately want the Herald, you activate Snatchy, synchroing away Cupsy Yami Way and Lollipop into the Synchro Lollipop. And now you activate Lollipop's on summon effect to bring back Cupsy and Cookie Yami. Very important, both are negated. Now you immediately activate Snatchy again to synchro into Metal Marcher effect to rebond the Cupsy again. And now you activate Snatchy to use both Cupsy Yami and Metal Marcher to go into the Herald, and that's basically it. You still do have Surprise, you don't have to rebond Cupsy Yami with Metal Marcher, but you can. There are arguments maybe not to do that, but even if the opponent, let's just say you didn't do that, you can if you want more defense, but you don't have to. I just realized that doesn't really give you anything. You can just wait for your opponent to activate one more card, then you chain Lollipop to get back Cupsy Yami and Cookie, which is a draw, and literal pop one monster the opponent controls, and that's basically it. So do not overextend for Herald, do not make those mistakes Lukasako did. It's easily doable to just do everything in the opponent's turn. You do not have to play into stuff by just being greedy for the Herald. There are 2 more mistakes I see a lot of Yami players are making, which is, the first is pretty simple. Please, do not keep your Purge in hand. Always set your Purge. Multiple reasons. First of all, you have Kagari and SP in your deck. Kagari, if it's your first turn, you probably will never use again, but SP is an argument for Purge to just set that card. Second of all, K9 cards. K9 cards are saying if the opponent has 2 or more cards in his hand, you can normally summon the level 5 K9s without tributing. So, if you can lower the amount of cards in your hand by just setting Purge, do that. The third point is that a drawn Mulchami Fupalos is very good against you. And if you do not have Ash in hand and you only have Purge and you keep Purge in hand, the opponent will immediately shotgun Fuvalos and you cannot activate Purge to stop Fuvalos since the opponent isn't controlling any card. So please, do set Purge. The last mistake I want to talk about quickly is if you have Hornet drones and Obedience Schooled and, importantly, you go first. Obviously, the obvious answer is to start with Obedience Schooled, but in theory, you can now chain Hornet drones, but if you do that, you lose against that little or big guy right here. Very heavily, unnecessarily, you don't have to. Because if you do count the summons, it's 4 summons, and yes, Obedience Schooled counts as 3 summons for Nibiru, which means that the 5th summon will be Snatchy, and Snatchy will now activate its effect to get the field spell on board, which means your opponent on resolution can now activate Nibiru, which clears your whole board, leaves you with a token, and you are not able to link into Link Spider because you are Obedience Schooled Beast Locked. Which means if you do not have a normal summon, specifically if you do not have any Yummy name in hand, you lose on the spot. Even if the opponent doesn't have Nip in his hand, chaining Hornet drones to Obedience Schooled serves no purpose at all. You can't suddenly make a monster you couldn't make otherwise by just chaining Hornet drones. One Obedience School opens every door the deck offers you, so no need to chain Hornet drones, you just hand loop yourself, you put a buddy unnecessarily on board, and you play into a lot more hand traps doing that. Obviously no shade against Lukasako, I am not saying mistakes are bad or he's a bad player because of that, he's an amazing player, but I just saw that the video has like 25,000 views and a lot of people are talking about that. Oh, set Ash Blossom if you banish Mignon beats Yummy. No, it's not as simple as that. Yes, banishing Mignon can be good, but there's more to it, more layers. So please do not banish Mignon, set and Ghost Ogre and expect to win because of all the videos you saw. Until the next time. See ya.